In workplaces everywhere, people with complex PTSD are making tremendous contributions with their talents and hard work, and at the same time struggling with symptoms and living in fear that sooner or later they're going to get found out and passed over or penalized or fired. Has this happened to you? There are some patterns that are common to people who went through abuse and neglect as kids, and they can hold you back from getting hired in jobs that fit, or from even seeking those jobs. And they can stop you from rising up to the level where you belong, doing what you really are capable of. Now, the bad news is that these patterns can get stuck. They can be hard to change. But the good news is that we do change them. And with some knowledge and support and perseverance, you can heal those tendencies and start using all your experiences, including some of the harsh ones, to become all that you were meant to be. And I can help you do that. I'm Anna Runkle, also known as the Crappy Childhood Fairy, and I teach people to recognize and heal the symptoms that so often show up in adults who have PTSD from childhood. And today I want to read a letter from a student of mine named Sue. And she says, "Hi Anna, I suffer from CPTSD and nobody at work knows. I spend an inordinate amount of time hiding the fact that my energy and flow is extremely inconsistent. I work at home and I manage to get my work done through self-flagellation more than anything else." That means being hard on herself. "I feel as if my life is a lie because of the energy I put into hiding how I really am. I feel a strong urge to somehow come out as someone who finds it really difficult to finish tasks and do simple tasks. More sophisticated and large tasks are actually much easier for me. I think I could bear the humiliation of that, but I can't risk losing my job because I have 3 teenagers and 1 extra for the last year to raise as a single mother. I'm on a decent salary and I wouldn't be able to find anything else on that salary, I don't think. I feel stuck in this situation, every day a stressful repeat of the day before, forcing myself to do simple tasks in a way that nobody else notices, but quietly wishing that people would notice so I can confess even if I lose everything as a consequence. Is there a way out? Thank you, Sue." Sue, yes, there's a way out, and I'm here to help. I'm actually in awe of you for supporting you, your 3 kids, and another kid while you're working as a single mom. And I hear you that your work is really a struggle right now. But before I start talking about some strategies to deal with work, I want to just say with all my heart that you are doing life's most important job, raising your kids. And if you were doing that under ideal circumstances, you'd have 2 adults helping with that, doing that job. You're doing both jobs. So just big hugs and support to you and validation. You made it this far. You're doing great. And I know because I spent many years in the same boat. But in my case, I just had 2 kids and their dad had them half the time. So it was much easier. And it was still very hard. It's isolating and exhausting and thankless being a single parent. But this too shall pass. And I want to share some tips with you to stay strong and stay sane while you're still in this hard part of it, okay? So first of all, I hear this urge in you to self-sabotage, to come out, as you say, as somebody who can't do your job, where you actually crave to get found out that you're struggling, even if it means you lose your job, even if it means you can't support your family. Now, I'm so glad you haven't done that and that you did something really positive instead. You confessed to me. I'm safe. You told me how crazy the process is inside, where somehow you're getting the job done despite CPTSD symptoms. Now, when you talk to someone who understands, it can really help to get some perspective. So my question for you is, are your struggles with the small things on the job really as bad as you think? I'm guessing that what you mean is that you're disorganized, maybe dropping the ball on things and feeling ashamed about it. You're dysregulated. That's a brain thing that happens to people who had childhood trauma. It's hard to keep track of details, hard to hold memories in place. It feels like, every time you try to remember something, it's like looking in your purse when you've just been stuffing things in there. It's not all neatly organized. It's okay. It can be reorganized, all right? I think it's interesting that the big picture things are easier for you. This is really valuable information, actually. I can hear that you're tired and stressed and the conditions of your life are triggering a lot of dysregulation and fear. So it kind of makes sense that the small and detailed tasks are harder for your brain to manage, And it's absolutely kick-ass that the big tasks are easier for you. You get those done. Now, I'm going to suggest that you totally rotate this shame attack you're doing to yourself and just look at things for what they are. Small and simple tasks are not your strong point right now. Large and complex tasks are your strong point. So I just want to point out that often when someone has that combination, they are ideally teamed up with a detail person. Many, many great things have been accomplished in this world by teams that include big picture people and close-up picture people. They're both really essential. The two really need each other. They're invaluable to the job, and they work in complement with each other. Now, in small companies or startups, people often have to play both roles. And I think it's interesting that at home, you're doing the job of two parents, and at work, you're doing the job of two minds. So no wonder you're feeling the heat, girl. That's 4 jobs. It never stops, right? You've got this, though. You don't have to be perfect at all 4 jobs. I know that being a single parent means always feeling like you didn't do enough on one front or the other. You know, bad job, bad parent, bad job, bad parent, back and forth. That's what we do, all right? That's part of the deal. It's normal to feel that way. Now, the way you're doing both of those roles in your job right now at work, the big picture thinking, the little picture thinking, and I know there's other people you're working with who are handling both of those in one job. Well, that's awesome. But let's not envy them. Let's work toward you being that way too, or just kind of sliding along the continuum in that general direction of having less effort for you to handle both aspects of your job, or who knows, maybe one day getting to specialize in the big side and having somebody else fill in on the small side. That's an entirely possible scenario. Now, I can definitely hear in your letter that you aren't comfortable feeling like you're not doing the job that you're paid to do, and I want you to build some confidence back in the work that you're doing. Not fake, not give yourself a medal for whatever little thing you do, confidence, but earned confidence, which comes when you get right with your own integrity and you feel pride in the work you're doing. And when you feel like even if you do your job in a way that's tailored to your own neurology, you can go to bed each night knowing you did an honest day's work. That's a very good feeling, and we all miss the mark sometime, but it's worth making that your aim, to put in an honest day's work and have that satisfaction. Okay, that's your pep talk, and I want you to keep this video handy so that every time your stress and trauma are making you fantasize about catastrophic failure so that you can stop dreading the future and just get the damage over with, this positive perspective can help you stay solid and well organized and in present time, back on track. If you ever want to leave your job, that's a choice. But let's help you get back in your strong place where what you do next is always a constructive choice, or nearly always, as best as you can, a constructive choice. Choice is very powerful. Choice comes from healing your trauma, all right? Strategy. Let's talk strategy. The first one is, I'm going to suggest that you totally embrace that your energy and workflow, as you say, are extremely inconsistent. Okay, you are not alone in this work style. Lots of people who don't have CPTSD are this way. And those of us who do have CPTSD, a lot of us are this way. Did you see my video a few weeks ago? It was about crashing. You know, do you crash and lose productivity over it? It means working in big, bold bursts and then drawing back into your cave for a rest. And if CPTSD is in the driver's seat, self-flagellation, like you said. But you don't have to attack yourself for having this work style. It's a style. It's how you roll, all right? And a lot of workplaces are getting a lot more flexible about working. You know, they want your productivity. They will support you in doing it in the time and schedule that works. And I know that some jobs, like, you know, you have to be there for other people at certain hours. Okay, fair enough. But I will say, now that I'm self-employed, that's how I get to work, and it works really well for me. I have a little plugin that lets me write an email in the middle of the night and then schedule it to send at 7 in the morning, when actually I'm sitting there groggy and doing my writing and meditating and kind of getting my brain ready for the day. That's how I actually operate. But I like my emails to go out then, and by the time I come out of meditation, I'm getting responses from people. I'm like ready to roll. All right? It's normal for us and for a lot of people. Now, maybe this is causing problems for your employer, and if so, that could be a reason to talk to your employer and see about workarounds. Yes, that would be an opportunity to talk about having CPTSD, but honestly, so many of us have never actually been diagnosed. And even if we were, you have to kind of ask yourself, because CPTSD is not widely recognized, it's not always widely supported, would it lead to creating better circumstances on the job, or could it possibly lead to being stigmatized or thought of as unreliable? And so, I leave that to your judgment for how to handle that. What you may be seeking is flexibility, support, accommodation. Maybe you need a quiet space, things like that. You can ask for that without outing yourself as having some sort of a, disorder. In general, I favor doing all you can to support yourself and find workarounds before you decide to ask for accommodations that may or may not be available to you. Then ask if you need to. All right, let's talk about the ability to focus. If you're like basically everyone on earth in this generation, focus is a challenge. Okay, here are some tools I use to support myself on that. One is noise canceling headphones. I'm serious, these are amazing. These are kind of expensive ones. You don't have to get them this fancy, but I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And I can also play instrumental music. I can't listen to music with lyrics and get anything done. It totally hijacks my brain. I'm a very wordy person. But I can listen to white noise. I can listen to the sound of the wind in trees. I can listen to binaural beats. And some of these things can be quite calming. You can experiment with that. Number 2, you can turn off notifications on this thing and on your computer. Turn off all notifications when you're doing focused work. And that goes very nicely with the third thing, which is using a timer and working in chunks of time. I like 25-minute chunks of time. Some people use 50-minute chunks of time. I take a 5-minute break. Some people take 10 minutes. So 25 minutes working, 5-minute break. 25 minutes working, 5-minute break. And I use a little Scrum application called Kanban Flow, Kanban Flow, Flow. I love it. There's a lot of applications like it, but I can make columns of tasks. I can color code them for how much time they take. I can put names. I can slide them around to different columns. And when I want to time my work, I can go in and click a task, highlight it, a timer begins, and it starts going for 25 minutes. All my notifications go off, headphones on, and I just do that. Then the timer goes off, I take a break, go get a cup of tea, check my email, whatever I want to do, and then come back and do another one. So this technique is called the Pomodoro technique, by the way. You might have heard of it out there. Pomodoro, Pomodoro. And the person who invented it, I think they had a little timer that looked like a tomato. Pomodoro is Italian for tomato, okay? I love this technique. When I have writer's block, which is constantly, I write a lot of stuff, and I want to put it off. I just want to come up with some little, do the laundry or do some dumb thing, go to the bank. But instead, I set my Pomodoro, I make myself work for 25 minutes, and usually I don't even need to do anything else. There's no more struggle anymore. I'm now, once I get started writing, I don't even want to stop. It's just coming really easily. You can see if that works for you. It's a free app. I get the $5 a month version so that I have a little more, features. I love it. Another thing is make big chunks of time where you block off categories of work. For me, I have people-facing tasks, chunks of time, and then I have chunks of time where there are no people, no notifications, no email, no meetings. People time has to be isolated off, because if I have to do content creation, I need big stretches, 5 hours, 8 hours of no interruption, or I'll stop and do emails at little intervals. I try never to browse during the day. It's so hard. Part of my job involves the secret Facebook group for members. And the minute I go in there, all the other stuff that's on Facebook starts catching my eye. And I try to be really disciplined about that. You're watching this on YouTube. Well, every time I post on YouTube, I'm seeing all this cool stuff coming up for some of my heroes, Richard Grannon and Russell Brand, and all these great videos are coming up, and I want to see what they're doing, but I got to get my work done first. So if I'm disciplined about anything, it's about protecting the chunks of time where I create and where I deal with people. And consuming content, I only do after 9 o'clock at night. Okay, next thing is keep a somewhat tidy space around you at work. I don't know about your dysregulation and PTSD, but when I see clutter, it tends to be dysregulating. When my desk has everything kind of, more or less put away, kind of sort of perpendicular. I mean, I'm really not OCD about this. And in fact, because I work a lot and I have PTSD, I just generate mess everywhere I go. It's just like mess, mess, mess everywhere I go. But a couple times a day, I stop and I tidy up my workspace, because visually, that chaos and stuff just sort of laying all over the place, it registers to me like a great big to-do list, like screaming at me. And I need everything to like be in a folder or turned face down so it doesn't keep like calling my attention to it. I need to put my attention on one thing at a time, nice and slow. Now finally, no fairy video would be complete without this. I'm recommending you use my daily practice techniques, writing and meditating, special techniques, morning and evening, to calm and collect and clear up your mind. Now you might say, I don't have time for that. I can't put in a half an hour in the morning and a half an hour in the evening. And I totally understand that feeling, but trust me, these techniques will give back much more time than they consume. Because what is time? Time is the ability to pay attention and choose what you will do next. When you are throttled by stress, self-attack, dysregulation, you have no time. You can't really read, you can't really get something done, you can't really have a conversation. So you, with your calm mind, it's like your time just opens way up. You get so much more done. So that's my pep talk. Daily practice, link down below in the description section. It's in this video and just every video I do. Have a look for it. So Sue, hang in there. You are not alone, and with some tools and self-support, you can do this. And thank you for sending your letter to Ask the Fairy. If any of you watching would like to ask me a question, email me at hello@crappychildhoodfairy.com and put in the subject line, Ask the Fairy, so I know what it's about and the staff forwards it to me. Now for everybody, if you like this topic, I want to point you to this video right here. It's about when you're at work, can people tell you have CPTSD? And I will see you soon.